My high school Spanish teacher would use her computer's disk tray as a shelf for her coffee mug. What is the most extreme misuse of an everyday item you have ever witnessed? What's up, my brother? Thanks for coming to another storytime by Alien Radio. Can you do your boy Andrew a favor and hit the like button? Thanks, man. If you did, I'll go ahead and send you some Jewel mango pods. Anyway, let's get into the stories. We weren't allowed hot plates or microwaves in the college dorms, so one of the girls on my floor cooked bacon with a hair straightener. I once had a friend casually say, you know how, when you run out of toilet paper, so you just use a sock, or whatever. No, the duck, I do not, Sandra, Jesus Christ. My friend's kid decided to make a grilled cheese sandwich with an iron on the couch. Burned a nice iron-shaped hole in the couch. Kid was 15 at the time. Got a non-stick pan and metal utensils in the kitchen? Somebody, at some point, will misuse the duck out of both at the same time. Not really an everyday thing unless you're a tradesman, but I've seen way too many people try to pound screws in with a hammer. My brother once used a brick chisel to cut brownies. My parents were redoing the kitchen and left it out on top of a paint bucket or something. Guess he thought it was a spatula? Edit. I was corrected that it was a putty knife and not a brick chisel, although they are pretty similar. Using a microwave to dry a smartphone. After running said smartphone under tap water to clean it, this was like 7 years ago, I don't think the phone was waterproof. Person who did this was good academically, but had no common sense whatsoever. It baffled me. When I was a kid, my mother used a pasta spoon to clean the cat litter box. I thought this was normal because it was the only way I'd ever seen it used. Then, years after our cat died, I was eating dinner at a friend's house when the mom grabbed the same kind of utensil to serve spaghetti. I freaked the duck out and shouted, "Why are you serving food with a poop scoop?" They were so confused and I couldn't eat my dinner because I was so disturbed. When I was very young, I used to think that you had to wedge your entire butt into the toilet seat when you have a crap. Moment of learning came when we went on holiday somewhere and were exploring the house. I saw the toilet with a much smaller seat than ours and said, that's so small, how am I gonna fit in that to poop? Needless to say, it provided some enjoyment for my parents. Edit. People saying it's my parents' fault for not teaching me right. I think it was on me, not them. I did it because it was more comfortable and also my innate instinct as a male to fill any hole I see. There's a Darwin Award that got awarded to a young man who learned in biology that running a current through a muscle will cause it to contract. He used this knowledge to hook up a cow heart to the electric grid and then stuck his dick in before flipping the switch. Took them a bit to figure out why they found a naked boy with what seemed to be a lump of coal fused around his dick. That doesn't seem like an appropriate use of your home's light sockets. We had a housemate who used to get home very drunk and try and cook himself elaborate meals, which always resulted in a lot of mess and noise. To combat this, I turned the oven and electrical sockets in the kitchen off when he went out one night. Foolproof. The fool cooked himself steak in the living room with our clothes iron at 3 a.m. Roommates in college used laundry pods in the dishwasher for like a week. I hand-washed my dishes, so it did not affect me. They only noticed because I asked why they always left their laundry pods on the kitchen counter. I had an extreme itch in my ear and no Q-tip. The closest small object that would fit in my ear was a screwdriver, so I used it. I ended up cutting my eardrum and had to go to the doctor. I can't say I regret it though, it was satisfying to finally get rid of the itch. Edit. I remember feeling uncomfortable because I couldn't hear properly a few weeks that. I used my pinky to feel around the inside of my ear and felt something hard, turned out to be a blood clot, and it came out in one piece. My hearing was fine afterwards. Anyways, I use ear drops now. The itch usually comes from allergies, so scratching it once won't help. Many years ago, my cousin was a doctor at a teaching hospital in my city. He came back from work one day and told us he was staying with us at the time that some guy had tried to use a lawnmower to trim his hedges. The blades of the mower got snagged around some of the branches on the hedge, and this idiot didn't turn the motor off before trying to reach into the mower to remove the jamming branches. As a result, when the branches were shifted, they dislodged, and the blades started spinning again at top speed, slicing his fingers off before he could remove them. Potential Darwin Award material right there. I read it in a newspaper article a few years ago. It was this article about life hacks and such, and basically what happened was, there was this hack going around about how, if you put your toaster on its side, slide in 2 slices of bread with cheese on top and toast them, you get toast and grilled cheese all at once. Apparently, this lady tried it, and the melting cheese set her toaster on fire. The whole thing went up and nearly burned her entire house down. This reminds me of the time my BF decided to make homemade lemonade. He was in the kitchen when I heard him struggling and cursing at this lemon squeezer. I came in and saw him, then asked what was wrong. He started to rant about this dumb lemon squeezer and how shoddy and ineffective it was. And that these decorative holes at the bottom aren't doing anything to let the juice flow out. I sincerely had never laughed so hard in my life. He had the lemons in the lemon squeezer in backwards, so it wasn't getting any pressure squeezed into the lemon. I took mercy and showed him how he was supposed to position the lemon in the squeezer. Of course he got much more juice out of it then. I think he felt kind of dumb, but to be fair, he is Korean American too. His family probably never made lemonade growing up. Or used lemons in general, since it's not used much in Korean food, although now anytime something doesn't seem to work, one of us will ask if it has decorative holes. I did not witness it, but my grandma had used a vibrator as a massaging stick for her back pain because the box had stated massage stick. The way we found out was hilarious though. When we visited her one day, she started telling how she went to the shop where she bought her massage stick and asked the boy to change the batteries. She did not understand why the boy had refused and why he acted weird. Then she asked my mom if she could change the batteries and gave my mom the vibrator. I still feel sorry for the kid behind the counter at the shop. I can only imagine how the whole thing went down. Boy. Hi ma'am, how can I help you? Grandma? Well young man, I've recently purchased this item from your store and I must say I've been very happy with it. Pulls out giant vibrator. I find myself using it every night and it really gives me relief and helps me sleep. I like that it's quiet, so I can even use it when I'm on the phone with my grandson. It's marvelous, really. In fact, I just used it in the car while I was coming here. If you feel the tip, I think it's still warm. Oh anyways, I don't want to ramble, but could you just replace the batteries for me, dear? I'm not sure how to get the shaft open. In my junior year of high school, 03 to 04, I spent 9 months living with my dad. I've always had an interest in tech and I'm a computer guy, so when I moved there I bought a computer. My dad and his family are the very opposite, none of them ever touched a computer to any degree, with mentioning the entire house was 100% computer illiterate. When I first set it up, my dad wanted me to teach him how to use it, and I was baffled by the level of illiteracy he actually had. It was like I went back in time with a computer and gave it to a caveman. I had to teach him literally everything about a PC and how to use starting from the very ground up. Early on I introduced him to the mouse cursor and the mouse. I had to explain to him how the mouse works, flipped it over, showed him the trackball, it was a very old PC, moved it with my finger, and explained when you move the mouse, the ball rolls across the desk and causes the mouse cursor to move. After a few moments of showing him mouse movement, I instructed him to move the mouse cursor over to an icon. He proceeded to pick the mouse up, flip it upside down, and started rolling the ball with his thumb, trying to make the mouse move to an icon. After I corrected his mouse use, we moved on to clicking MOUSE1, then explained how it's typically a take action on whatever your mouse cursor is on function, and asked him to single click an icon in order to highlight it. He quite literally was unable to do this. Every time he would click the mouse, for some reason he would also jerk his hand, causing the mouse to shift some direction and off the icon. He was completely incapable of clicking a specific spot on the screen and could not seem to learn it. After about 10 minutes of us going through clicking things, he got frustrated and said that's enough and walked away. He never managed to click the icon. Thanks for watching. What did you think of the story time? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any more story times.